For our very first chef camp, we have partnered with Sweetgrass at Thunder Basin, which is just south of Gillette, Wyoming, and I cannot think of a better place to kick off our very first chef camp at.
That is a big bass drum.
So welcome, this is Duck Creek Farm.
The goal being to provide 100% of the food and beverage that people consume here from the ranch.
We're going to harvest the guinea fowl, and we're going to serve that with black currant jam that we made here from a currant bush that we have on the property.
Fresh green beans from the garden, and then homemade sourdough. It's good stuff.
Here we have the potato crostade. Here we have the medallion of bison. The final course of the night, bison medallion on a potato pancake with a ratatouille and a mushroom whiskey sauce. Please enjoy.
Hey, what's up everybody? So y'all are familiar with our From Field to Table program, where our clients come to one of our outfitters and they go on a hunt and they learn how to butcher, process, and cook their wild game. Well, now we've come up with something new. We've actually taken it a step further, and that is called our chef camp. For our very first chef camp, we have partnered with Sweetgrass at Thunder Basin, which is just south of Gillette, Wyoming, and I cannot think of a better place to kick off our very first chef camp at. So Sweetgrass at Thunder Basin is known for their regenerative farming. It is a 6,000 acre ranch. They do pheasant hunts here, but in addition to that, they are almost 100% self-sufficient in the fact that they have their own dairy cows, so they produce their own butter, they make their own cheeses, they have their own beef cows, obviously for their own beef, they raise all their own fowl, ducks, geese, chickens, guinea fowl, so they have all the eggs, and then they have the meat that the poultry provides as well. They even have their own bees for their own honey. Very extensive garden with greenhouses. They grow their own herbs, all their own vegetables. So everything that we consume here on the ranch was either raised or grown or produced right here on the ranch. Now here's where chef camp is a little bit different. We don't actually go on a hunt, but they are still provided different proteins for them to be able to work on. In this case, whenever the guests show up, they're going to have an adult bison for them to learn how to butcher, and this is going to be advanced butchering. This isn't going to be like what we do at a regular field to table. It'll be some advanced butchering techniques. They're going to learn meat ID. They'll learn different cooking methods for each different cut of meat. They'll also do some processing where they'll make multiple different types of sausage. But in addition to that protein, because of the way that Sweetgrass operates, they're also going to work with different game fowls, and they'll learn the entire process with that of how to pluck them, how to boil them to get the feathers off, and then of course they'll gut them, they'll clean them, and then of course the final step with all of that, they're going to go in the kitchen with our Chef Wutch and Chef Deirdre, who is one of the owners here at Sweetgrass. The guests will spend some time in the kitchen, and each team of two will be responsible for a recipe that is on the menu. One night that Chef Deirdre has prepared, and then another night that Chef Albert has prepared. And then they're going to learn how to plate it beautifully, and then they're all going to serve each other, and we're all going to sit around and have an amazing feast of 100% organic vegetables and meat that was raised right here on the ranch. So guests should be showing up here at any time. I'm going to go get ready, and we will keep you guys updated. Good luck. First, welcome. This is, I know everybody's first time here. This is actually my second time here, and I think you all will be hard pressed to find a nicer or a better experience than what you guys are going to have here. So I absolutely love this place. I know you've only gotten to see just a little bit of it. A lot of thanks to the gentleman here. I don't think everybody's met Rick yet, but you'll have an opportunity here shortly. His wife Deirdre is running around here somewhere as well. This is their property. So I met them 3 years ago and got to have our first experience here 2 years ago. So super excited to have everybody here. Everybody here is repeat clients, has done something with us in one aspect or another. And the three gentlemen right here, I guess, felt comfortable enough that brought the wives along as well. So we're grateful to have you guys here. And Chip is actually a three-peater. This is his third trip with us this year alone. So why don't we meet back here, right here, in about 15 minutes, and then we'll walk over and we'll get started. And go ahead, and we talked about it, your knife sets that are in your rooms. Go ahead and bring them with you.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to take that thing apart, and that's, I'm guessing, 800 to 900 pounds, and we're gonna take it apart simply, because we don't have a tremendous amount of time. You know, if we wanted to make tomahawk chops and do all those kinds of things and work with a bandsaw, that would be another whole, that'd be like an advanced class. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart as we would a deer or an elk or a caribou. You know, so what I'm trying to get across are concepts and meat identification. And on this animal, we're going to have some, you know, big cuts of meat. So we've taken, the first thing we did was took the flank off. Then we took the tenderloins out. We took the inside tenderloin, the front tenders out. We took the diaphragm or the skirt steak out. We took the front legs off. We took the briskets off. Now we're going to take part of this neck and that whatever's left there, that windpipe, and get that cleaned up before we start on the sternum and get this prepped for different types of ribs. Like we're going to make short ribs out of it, and then we're going to take this whole back strap off, including the hump here.
Boy, that is a cut of meat.
Right?
Never had a backstrap that big?
Heck no, that is a big backstrap.
So now if we look, here's, so if we were, say, cutting tomahawk chops,
riblets. Yeah, I think what's beneficial about having an animal so big like that, is, especially for first-time hunters like us, it's really easy to kind of pinpoint all the areas that we're going to eventually be, you know, pinpointing on other animals of smaller size. So to see something kind of that big and be able to work with it is a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, especially after having only seen like butchered beef in small pieces, I can now make it make sense on the whole body as well.
But if you look right here, this is the top inside round. This is the most tender cut on the hind leg. So if I was buying veal to make veal scallopini, that's the muscle I'm buying. And this is the most abused muscle on the animal. Obviously, take a look at it. You could see stomach contents and stuff like that on there. So, and there's the pelvic bone. So how we're going to take this apart is we'll start here, usually start on the other side, but it don't matter. So this is that H-bone. So we have to cut behind there and follow this pelvic bone down and around, behind this wing H-bone and down around to where the ball joint is here. Then we'll flip it over and then we'll do the same on the other side. A lot of guides would have cut it right there and left that on there. Or they cut it right across there and cut through the tenderloin. So now we got, that should be disconnected.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
All right, so that's a hanging round of beef and or, you know, deer or antelope. So it's, again, it's exactly the same, but that's the sirloin butt. That's where your sirloin steaks come from. So this is the inside top round, tender, mutilated, you know, hung up, birds get on it in camp, you know, because people cut right there by the pelvic bone and they mess that up really bad. Or if you're dragging the deer through and the meat flips over, then this is going through the dirt and the pine needles and the cow pies, and then you got E. coli on the meat. So we definitely don't want that. And again, we don't have any of that fluid on our knives. So this is going to have to be trimmed, and we're going to trim that up before it even goes in the cooler.
That's another reason. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. That's another reason why it's not always a good idea to split the pelvic in the.
That's what I was about to ask.
Oh, okay, in the field, because this, like he's already said, that's the part that gets abused more than anything. It's the most tender cut on the hind quarter.
So here This is the outside bottom round. It goes all the way up to the butt, and it's rectangular. And so this one is great for steaks and roasts and chops, and or stew meat, or making pastrami or corned beef or jerky. Outside bottom round. This is the eye of the round. So this one is the eye that looks like, you'll see it on beef, it's called the eye of the round, looks kind of like a tender. In a culinary field, that's a mock tender, because it looks like a tenderloin. And then this is the inside. This one here, there's a seam right here, and this is basically where the bone runs. This is the butt up here. This is the tri-tip right here, that muscle, see that muscle right there? And then this one, this thigh muscle, is the sirloin tip, or the knuckle, or I call it the football because it looks like a football. And then this is the shank, and this muscle that's underneath here, it's called the heel. So this goes with this. So when you get a lamb shank on the plate, a whole one with the bone in, it's this muscle and this muscle underneath here. So less tender, the eye is less tender, the inside top is tender. This tri-tip, less tender. The sirloin butt is tender. The football or knuckle or sirloin tip is less tender. So basically we classify them as tender, less tender, and tough. So once we understand that when it's less tender, then we can choose a cooking method or a brine, or by cubing it or pounding it or marinating it to make it more tender. The tender cuts, we don't need to do really anything other than season it and cook it. On the ribs, we put a rub on the ribs to flavor it, to tenderize it, and to render the fat. That's why the rub stays on there for 24, 48 hours. A rub on this inside top round, you put the rub on it and cook it because it's already tender. You're just putting the rub on there to flavor it. So they have different functions of why we would brine it or marinate it. And I don't, even on any game, I don't like round steaks. Even on beef, I don't like them, but round steaks would be where you would cut this top round and bottom round with a bone on one side, and you have the inside, the eye, and the outside. And all of those muscles are covered with this fascia. That's what makes it contort out of shape. On elk and deer, or any member of the deer family, that's what makes it taste gamey, because all of the muscles are wrapped in that fascia and you can't get it off. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it contort out of shape. That's what makes it chewy. And that's what makes family members not like gamey at all. So on this one, what I do is just turn it down, make believe it's a fish. Start right here.
Okay. Oh.
If we have time, maybe that's what we'll do is we'll get everybody.
Look at that!
And that'll come right off. Most of it. Okay.
Look at
then on
that.
this piece, we just take this and just you're just and you hold it over the edge, and then you peel it. So this is nice and clean now, and this is that's your crud. Okay.
Look at that. That's why they
You
pay
got
you the
some
big
really
money.
nice, clean pieces of tender cut.
Tender.
So this is good for like sautéed tenderloin tips.
Oh,
or
yummy. Mm-hmm.
Stroganoff or things like that. Then this thing, the same thing. This, if you wanted to keep for bone broth, that's what I would keep for bone broth.
That's awesome. I've never thought of that. That's brilliant.
This is good trim. I mean, you can make your Philly cheesesteaks and things like that out of this. This piece is part of our brisket, which we'll take these pieces off now. And we're just going to peel this off of there. I'm not going to do it all. I'm going to put the knife down. Okay, so if you look, you can see see that seam, and then we'll just trim a little bit of this off. We'll turn this all over, and now you can see this piece. Okay, you following that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, same with these. We just cut them into 3s or 4s. Just count them. If you see it's messed up like this, then we just trim this off. We can work on getting the usable meat off of there. And then 3, 3, 3. All right, and we'll stack these in a red tub, ready to go to be packaged.
So is this feels like its own cut of meat? Should I cut?
It's a cap that we could leave on or you could take off. You know what? Because there's these. This is a young animal, and then this isn't really thick. We're going to leave this on there.
Okay.
So then when we cook it, we can tie it on or put a rub on it. So we'll leave it attached.
Okay.
If it does come off, cut it. But right now we'll just leave it attached.
Okay. Am I trimming the silver skin also? Or
No, just because it's too fresh to do that.
Okay,
so we're
okay.
just going to
No
cut,
problem.
count the ribs and cut, and we're good to go. So really on there, we want to just trim a little fat. We'll take some paper towel and wipe these and dry these.
Okay.
And we're going to package them up just like that.
Okay,
And
you want
then,
to leave this little fat in the back?
Yeah, we'll leave all that right on there.
Okay.
And then this would be, because we can cut through there, but I'd rather not. I'd just rather freeze it like that, and somebody can put a rub on it, brine it, and smoke it.
Okay.
And then cut them into ribs.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now we have the liver, and then here we have like part of the gall. We want to take this and cut this off. We want to trim all of this connective tissue off of this. You can skin these. We want to let it cool so that you can get your finger underneath this to get this off of there. And then we can use this, like we'll make out of antelope liver and heart. We'll take it and cook it and then grind it 3 times, season it, of course, when you cook it, and then mix it with an Italian type polenta where you cook the cornmeal and make antelope heart and liver scrapple out of it. So you would put it into the molds and it will look just like scrapple. Or you can take this and soak it in brandy and sherry or cognac, and then mix it with cooked sauteed onions, and then put it in a food processor, and then wrap it and put it in a sous vide, and you can make braunschweiger, like liverwurst. Or you could take that and smoke it, and then and then puree it and make like a liver mousse pate that you could pipe out on crackers and things like that. Of course, a lot of people use bacon and things like that to help flavor it. So there are a lot of things that you can do with the liver, especially off of chickens and or guinea hens or things like that. But of course we have to clean it up some. So we'll cut this off, and then we'll trim this off, and we'll cut this into a bunch of pieces so that they can package it and use it. The heart, of course, obviously this is pretty big, and we're going to take this apart here in a little bit, because we're going to take this heart and heart is like duck breast. So if you're in camp, you can cut this and saute at high heat really fast and serve it rare, and it's as tender as can be. Or you have to cook the heck out of it. There's nothing in between, like a duck or a goose. It's either rare or cook the heck out of it. Otherwise, it's really tough in the middle. So in between there. So we're going to take this, we're going to clean it up, and then we're going to cut it, and then we're going to pickle it or put it in a brine. And the brine is easy. Morton Tender Quick, salt and sugar, and some spices. And then we're going to throw a bunch of pickling spices in to make corned bison heart. Then we're going to take that heart and cook it, and on what's tomorrow, Sunday? So on Monday, we're going to cook that in a broth with some onions and more pickling spice, so it comes out like corned beef. Wow. And then we're going to shred it and mix it with sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, Thousand Island dressing. We're going to put it in an egg roll wrapper, and we're going to deep fry it. So we're going to have corned Reuben bison heart as an appetizer. So that's what one of the courses is going to be. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to use that. So just a quick recap of what we did. We harvested the animal. We wanted a young animal. We wanted good shot placement so we get 100% yield off of it. We skinned it, we field dressed it, we skinned it. While we field dressed it, we took offal or organ meats out of it, from the diaphragm to the caul fat to the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the testicles, the tongue, We could have taken the tongue as well. So all of those parts can be used. And then we took the animal apart. So we took the flank off first. Then we went in and we took the tenderloins out, and we took the front tenders out, I call them. We took the front legs off. We took the briskets off. We cut ribs out of them. We cut the back straps off, and then we took the back straps off, and then we took the 2 hanging rounds, put them on the table, and split them, took them off the pelvic bone, and we opened them up so that they would cool down, because that large muscle mass will hold the heat. You saw that. We also took the chuck. We made some brontosaurus ribs, and we peeled all of that meat, that chuck, off the front of the ribs and way off those feather bones where that hump is on top of its back. We got all that meat in there cooling and chilling overnight. We didn't cut anything into stew meat. We left it into mussels. We're gonna let those mussels chill and relax. Tomorrow, you go with Chef Deidre in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do some more cutting. I mean, he was walking around in the corral today, and now it's all, you did a fabulous job on those kidneys and the liver and everything, and we're done literally an hour early, so I'm gonna shut up so we can get the heck out of here. Good job.
Good job, Chef.
Yeah, good job, everybody. Yeah, go hang out for a while. You can come over whenever you want, but they'll have all the staff at the bar and start slinging some drinks and hang out. Dinner, I think 7-ish.
Perfect.
So, yeah, come on up.
So welcome. This is Duck Creek Farm. Named it Duck Creek Farm because there is actually a creek that runs through the property that's called Duck Creek, and these are considered the Duck Creek Breaks, which is kind of the furthest west breadth of the Black Hills of South Dakota, fold over into this northeastern portion of Wyoming. So that's where the name came from. This is now my poultry island. we call it all kinds of things, but right now we've got our geese in residence that will that are on our menu for this fall. So we've raised them from chicks. And then the little red house that's back here, that's the egg-laying duck house. And we've actually got a mix in there right now. We've got our Muscovies, and we have some new egg layers. So they're fenced in so that they get trained to lay eggs in a certain location, and then they'll get let out as soon as they're laying consistently in the same spot. So we don't have to go around the pond and find all their eggs. As soon as they're doing that responsibly, then we'll open that door for them, and they'll come out and get to enjoy the pond as well, and then they get tucked in at night. And then the dairy goats, we do collect and we do milk the dairy goats, so we make a lot of goat milk products here. I do goat milk yogurt, which is kind of the biggest thing that I have, and I think I've got it on the menu maybe tomorrow. Goat milk yogurt, I of course bake goat cheese, goat milk ice cream. So we use the dairy for all different kinds of purposes. But because we've kept the mamas and the kids together, they're not weaned off yet. So the kids are huge because they've been, enjoying mom and then also eating all this wonderful grass and forage. And so we'll walk down here a little bit and I'll show you what we've got on this end of the farm.
So my name's Deirdre Wildman. My husband Rick Steiner and I own Sweetgrass Ranch. I own and operate Sweetgrass at Thunder Basin as an upland wing shooting lodge. We also do corporate retreats, board meetings, and that kind of thing. So we spent the last 5 years rebuilding the soil through all of our pastures and fields where it was needed to be. And my very first winter here, I designed a garden. I knew that I wanted to grow very healthful produce and ingredients for my menus that I was going to be serving to the guests that came here. I really enjoy gardening, always have had a green thumb, and so wanted to tackle this project, and the goal being to provide 100% of the food and beverage that people consume here from the ranch. Unfortunately, that's a little bit too lofty of a goal, but I get there and get pretty close. I do plan menus and I do plant the garden around all of that. We wanted to do 100% organic, no chemicals, no pesticides, so no unnatural fertilizers, and we really wanted the ranch to be self-sustainable. So in our farm, in Duck Creek Farm, we have a wide variety of livestock. So we do raise our own 100% organic Black Angus beef. We raise goats for meat and for dairy. We raise a variety of poultry, geese, ducks, chickens, Guinea fowl. We've had a few other things float in and out over the years. And then we also have a rabbitry. With all of that, we use 100% of the livestock as a part of our food and beverage operations, but we always also use them to help fertilize our fields naturally by letting them free range for their lives, so they get to live really, really good lives until they choose to serve another purpose, or until we choose for them to serve another purpose. And we use their poop. I do talk about poop a lot, and unfortunately there's just not a better word to explain it. But we do use all of that, and that goes into the garden, specifically the goat and the rabbit. That is a really good cold fertilizer that we can use in our gardens. We maintain a worm farm also because the worm casings are such an incredible amendment to the soil here. We've spent years soil building. I utilize a method called Hagenkugel, where I've got slash piles underneath soil that are decomposing over time, and that has to be amended every year. So I use the amendments that are provided by the livestock on the ranch in order to further enhance the soil that we have. And then I grow per season to the menu or things that I want to try. So I've always got some tester beds in the culinary garden where I like to see if it'll grow here in this climate. Every year is a little bit different. Sometimes tomatoes do really well, sometimes beans do really well. It just kind of depends on the weather and some things that I can't control. But it's been a really amazing experience growing this garden and have people fall in love with it and have people want to know more about why we're doing regenerative agriculture, why organic is so important, why their food tastes so much better when they're eating it right off the vine. It's been really great with this experience in doing a partnership with Outdoor Solutions and having a group of folks come in for a very intensive and immersive education on the subject matter, because they're really into it and they're already doing great things on their own. And so it was a collaborative conversation more than it was me teaching, I feel, because they're talking about the experiences that they've had and successes they've had, failures they've had. I talk about successes I've had, failures I've had. We had a group here this time that was really into beekeeping. Two of the couples who were here and a part of our adventure have kept bees in the past, and another one's really interested in doing it. And I think preserving and our pollinators and giving them appropriate spaces to live is a really it's a good thing. It's definitely made my garden more prolific in keeping bees because I have active pollinators that are here already, but that really gives me another resource to make sure I get really good pollination on all the plants so I have enough food to feed my guests here through the season. It's been glorious to have some like-minded people here and have the conversations and really dig into some best practices and kind of share our life's experiences with each other.
You want to talk about a passion project? Chef Deirdre is 100% passionate about what she's doing here with her regenerative farming. Today we're getting the garden tours, and I have learned more about poop than I ever thought that I was going to, because apparently it's very important for the 100% organic gardening that they're doing here. So they're doing, she's got chicken poop, they got rabbit poop, goose poop, horse, cow. I'm sure I'm leaving something out. Oh, and worm poop. That's the important one. So that's also, she calls it worm casings. So to support her gardens, you heard me talk about the bees earlier. So that's to help with all the pollination. Plus, obviously, they get the benefit, the side benefit of collecting the honey. But with the worms, she grows her own worms and uses the worm casings, which is poop, to put in her raised beds for her gardening. Now, her gardens here are 100% organic. Everything is started from seeds, which she collects herself from her other plants. She has areas that she keeps them in. You can see the greenhouse behind me. Our guests are getting the tour and they're asking tons of questions. If you guys have a question, leave one for us in the comments in this video and we'll see if we can get Chef Deirdre to answer them for you.
While we're waiting for the pot to boil, I'll walk you through the process and what we're going to be doing, and how we're going to then break everything down into our menu for this evening. So clearly we've got some guinea fowl here. We're going to harvest the guinea fowl. The guinea fowl are then going to be placed into these cones, and they're going to be beheaded and bled out. That's going to happen in this spot. We're going to have some of you, so think about which jobs you might be interested in. Somebody is going to be involved in the plucking process. So we're going to have a team of 2 involved in the plucking process, which involves holding mitts and dunking in the water. And you have to dunk because you've got to get both sides of the feather, is what I like to explain. Like, you want both sides of the feathers to be wet. So if you just stick it in, only one side of the feather gets wet, right? But you want to dunk, dunk, dunk. The water has to be 150 to 155 degrees in order to loosen the fat in the skin so that it'll release the feathers, all right? So that's why we do this process. Dunky, 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 super easy. And then we carry over here and we go into the magic plucker. So this thing's got a bunch of little rubber fingers on it, and the bird's going to kind of bounce around in there, and it's going to remove majority of the feathers from the bird. So that happens, and water sprays through this. So the water is spraying in there, bird goes in, stop the machine, and I'll have someone stationed here to do the start-stop for you. Bird comes out. So the most important thing when we're harvesting is we want to cool the temperature of the bird off as quickly as possible for food safety reasons, right? So we do ice bath, ice bath. Lots of ice baths around here to get them really cool. So this is where the bird goes after the plucking process has happened. Sometimes we have to slow down because this process takes longer than the plucking process. So we'll go at a nice, easy pace. And then it's going to go back to another station where we're going to break the bird down. So this is where we're going to, some of the birds are going to stay whole because we're going to roast them tonight. And some of the birds we're going to break down where we're going to remove the breasts from the body. Those are going to get ground at the next station so that we can make meatballs tonight. The legs and thighs are going to be removed and reserved, and then the carcasses are going to come back to the group that are going to make the brine. So we're going to go through all of that process, and then at the end we'll go through and do some finish work for the birds that we're going to smoke whole tonight for dinner. So we are going to do the rustic guinea pate with the organs, and we're going to serve that with black currant jam that we made here from a currant bush that we have on the property. So that's going to be an hors d'oeuvre this evening. We're going to have Guinea meatball skewers from our group 2, and we're going to serve that with an heirloom yellow tomato sauce that I pulled from the garden. It's actually from last year's tomatoes because a lot of my tomatoes are still green for some reason. We're going to do a lemon basil smoked guinea. So we're going to learn how to not just to get the birds clean, but we're also going to learn how to spatchcock if you don't already know how to do that. And we're going to brine that, and then this evening when we get together to do the finish work, we'll do kind of a marinade rub on it, and we're going to smoke that. And then we're going to have someone who's going to do the guinea bone broth, which could be applied to any kind of poultry, of course, any of this could. We're going to do a bone broth, and then that team's going to make risotto tonight with the broth.
I can't do it with my big gloves. Wow, that's amazing.
So we have to create that opening, and you don't want to puncture any of the internal organs when you do this because then you have a mess and it can paint the bird. So I pull some of the skin out and I make a slit like this, and then I kind of break through it with my fingers so I didn't go quite far enough. I break through it with my fingers as much as possible so that I don't risk, and then just kind of pull it open. And there's a lot of fat. That's all fat. That's because it's a very healthy, well-fed bird, right?
I love that.
So there's lots of fat. And so I say that the safest way to like get in here is to also go along the rib cage, right? So you can kind of put your finger in there and kind of touch its breastbone from the underneath side and kind of loosen what's in there. And then I'm basically pulling down to get the innards out. I'm holding the neck. And then the rest of this gets cleaned up in another station. So that's basically this job.
That's basically it. Yeah.
And I go back inside and make sure I got everything. So like there's a little bit of lung left in here. And try and get some of that out. Until it looks like that. Wow. Yeah, leave the skin on the legs, and then you'll have to break the hip joint so that you can get the knife in between there. Well, we're going to take the legs and thighs and the breast, which is really all the meat that there is on a guinea fowl, and that goes in red bin. And then once you've got the breasts off, it'll go in this bin, and it'll get moved to this table for them to start the grinding. And then basically you want to get, there's ribs under here, right? So you want to, this is the breastbone. Yeah. So you want to start here, and you want your knife, because see how your knife is a little flexible? Yep. And it kind of bends? So what you want to do is press the knife against the bone, so you're keeping, like if you were at home, you wouldn't want to lose any of the breast meat. We're going to grind it, so if you mess it up, it doesn't matter, but you're just going to come along this rib cage line with your bone and try to stay as close to the bone as possible, and you want to remove this whole piece. I gotta blow my nose.
Gonna get this layer of skin off, and then they'll be part of the broth.
To get to the other side.
Yeah, you just don't have two carcasses. We're doing a vegetarian rhythm now. Basically, your knife is a little bit flexible, right? So what you're going to do is this is the breastbone all the way down the middle. Let's see what you do.
So good. It's tough to close that. Thank you. That is a shirt now.
The aromatics that we're going to use for the brine, and basically for every gallon of water, you want 1 cup of salt and 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay. You could do just those things, and you've got a brine. We like to flavor the brine a little bit. I call it a brine, a marinate brine.
Cup of salt, 1/2 of sugar.
For every gallon of water, 1 cup of salt and 1/2 cup of sugar. You could use brown sugar if you wanted to add a little more molasses-y flavor. You could use white sugar. You can use salt, regular salt, sea salt, all kinds of salt. But we are going to add, because we're doing a lemon herb guinea for dinner, we're going to add some citrus to our brine, and we're going to add some other aromatics to our brine. So in this particular case, you're going to use the peeler, and you're going to do some big peels of this orange, and just kind of peel the orange like you would an apple to get this peel off. So you're going to do that. The garlic is really easy on a brine. You basically just want to open it up so that the brine is in contact with the garlic. So you're just going to cut this in half and dump it in the pot.
Day 2 was a great property tour that we went on. This is an amazing property out here. They took us in buggies, and we got to go see where the animals live and the healthy, happy environment they're in. And, honey?
Yeah, so then we came back and we processed guinea fowl. Everything from just everything, harvesting them, dunking them in the water, plucking them, and then taking them through and going through the whole process of breaking them down. We're making stock, we're making meatballs, we're making pate, and they're also going to be roasted sometimes for us to eat while we're here.
We do cook a lot, and we have broken animals down before, but I think one of the things I just love about the process is learning is how organized they are with the steps and the chilling at the different steps of processing. That's something that I thought was very helpful. They've got great equipment here, but they also helped us to understand how we could do it at home and things like that.
Also, the guinea fowl are kind of unique from anything that I've broken down before. When you get in, into the inside and see all the different parts, and we're looking forward to tasting them too, because we've never eaten them.
Yeah, it's great. Chef Deidre is just knowledgeable and amazing, and just nothing's wasted. I love that part. Nothing's wasted on the animal's stock. We're used to feet.
Necks and feet.
Necks and feet, making amazing stock. So cool.
Well, our menu tonight is focused around the harvest that we took this morning, so we can pay tribute to the food, right? So we're gonna have a rustic Guinea pate, and I believe our eviscerator team is gonna make that, yes? The two of you are still in for that? Yes. Okay, excellent. So we'll get you on a station and you're gonna make the pate, and I'll walk you through all of the steps and we'll be circulating to help if you have any questions. You're also going to get, to help us a little bit with the Moroccan bison sausage that you guys prepped already. So we're gonna have you, because the pate won't take very long, so this will give you something else to do. So you're gonna cook off the bison sausage, and you're also gonna make the jalapeno honey cilantro glaze that goes with it. So then we've got the lemon herb smoked guinea fowl. The two of you are gonna do the lemon herb smoked guinea fowl because we're pretending like we're on a culinary television show right now. The smoke and mirrors is that the guinea fowl are already on the smoker because I wanted to do them really low and slow because they don't have a chance to come out of rigor as fast as we did that. So while everybody's going inside, I'll show you what we're doing with the guinea hens. We're smoking them at about 225 degrees, which takes a certain number of hours to make sure we're low and slow, bringing them up to temperature. So I'll give you a quick look at what they look like right now after being on here for a few hours. And that's it. They'll be ready to carve up in the next 30 minutes. All right, so we have the guinea fowl meatballs with yellow tomato, what is it? Yellow tomato marinara. The word just escaped my brain. So guinea meatballs, yellow tomato marinara. And there's I think she's already got the gluten-free, so I'll put this here and you guys can pass that. And then of course on the table we have the Guinea rustic pate with a homemade sourdough garlic toast point and a black currant jam. And so the way you would normally eat it would be to take a little spread and put it on the toast point and then take a little teaspoon. It's a very tart. Black currants are very tart, so just a little bit of the black currant and the sweetness will help bring out and complement the smooth and savory nature of the pate.
What is that?
This is a marinara.
Oh, okay.
You want some? Mm-hmm. Take it to the other table. Okay.
Slide it in there.
It's like a cheese.
You're right. No, Tillamook is the cheese.
Tillamook
Tillamook, I think, is a Jew.
Tillamook is an anime character.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm never gonna. Yeah. He wanted also a whiskey sour with the whiskey that he made up.
What do you think? Did you guys do a good job?
I'm not a fan of liver, and I can barely taste. Like I can't even taste it. It's just good.
What is the
No, it's not like liver at all. It's really good. Really good.
You know what it's called.
Modelo, Ferrari, Coors Light, Coors Banquet, Light, Stella.
We're making good assumptions.
My grandfather tried to get me to take an etiquette class. Said no. I should have said yes.
Delicious. Delicious. Oh, here we go. I have no place to land this. Here we have our risotto made with bone broth. And then we also have fresh garden beets with a shallot vinaigrette dressing.
Goodness.
Yum. And then we have some homemade herb sourdough. You want to see? The Guinea hen. Wow. Yeah. This platter is a little warm. Wow. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way.
Can I pass this on?
So good. Yeah.
Wow. Hold on, one more, Griggs. 1 second.
Well, that's a heavy size.
So I told you that we were going to have some type of poultry, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And it's actually guinea fowl, which I've never had before. I've taken one bite. It's outstanding. We've got a risotto with it, fresh green beans from the garden, and then homemade sourdough. It's good stuff.
They always want to help, right? You give them a glass
What
of
about the
wine.
risotto?
You give them a glass of wine. You sit them by the
I understand it, yeah.
It's a little depressing.
Yeah.
Can't mess
Unless
it
I'm in the woods and
up.
trying to eat a sandwich or, something.
So what we're gonna do today is we're just gonna take, all we really have left to cut up is the hind legs, the 2 hind legs, the 2 front legs, and there's some trim there, and we're just gonna cut the trim up into, we're gonna get 2 red tubs. One's gonna be stew and one's gonna be grind. And then we'll package that way, and then we could grind it or, use it any way you choose at a later date. Then all of those will get vacuum sealed and get put in different tubs for you to take home. So we got the ribs, I got all the strip loins and everything already in the freezer, so those large pieces of meat are frozen solid. They'll help keep the meat that you have frozen along with those ice packs. So we've got 7 tubs in the freezer ready to go to get sorted. We do have a lot to do because, it's not like a little antelope leg. This leg is probably 120 pounds or more. So, but the muscles are still the same. There's still 7 or 8 muscles. They're just going to be in larger pieces. We'll trim them up and we'll go over tender versus less tender versus tough. And then we'll break them down into some smaller steaks, chops, and roasts. But the meat has rested that first 24 hours. We don't want to do what we're going to do today in that first 24-hour window, because when you cut that meat's still twitching and you need the muscles to relax. Otherwise, we'd be making it tough. Okay, so we got all the grill marks on here from the walk-in, but so here's the outside bottom round. You can see the road map by these lines. So here's that sirloin tip. This is the butt. This is that thigh muscle. This is the tri-tip. What you want to do here is get this off first.
It's a big deer you're cutting on.
Yeah, mighty big deer.
That way,
it ain't its Wheaties.
Then from there,
That's what I like about doing the hind legs. I mean, you can see the grain going all the different directions, and it gives you that road map.
We never had any training.
Part of this. So you see that seam right there?
Yeah.
See that right there? So we want to peel that off.
Yeah, let's go finish this.
So this is basically all trim. We want to peel that off before we actually start on the leg itself. Okay?
Great. So now, I'll start peeling this off already. Okay, so now you can see the green.
Right here, that's the hind leg. There you go.
Very cool.
Didn't take you very long to get that out of there.
Who wants? Where do I put it?
What do we do with that?
So let's take this one off, then this one off, then we'll take the inside top round off. Okay. Good job.
Yeah.
Looking good.
This is one.
Yeah, that's all going to be trimmed. So you can just peel that right off. And don't worry if you leave a little bit of meat on here.
So you did actually no.
No? Okay. That's definitely part of the shank.
Yes, that is part of the shank. So
the above the shank.
So actually, technically, yeah, it is. So that's the heel.
Heel.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really almost like your calf.
Gotcha.
It is almost
That does look like a calf.
Yeah.
And then you've got inside top round.
Very good. Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. So since you've
Killing
got,
it.
yeah, there you go. That's what we're starting on right there. Yep. Just follow that seam.
That's nice.
Sharpen your knife. I'm gonna sharpen it for you here in just a second. But use longer strokes and use as much of the blade as possible when you're going like these.
Okay, so this muscle right here, this was the knuckle or the sirloin tip, or we call it the football. So that was this one, because that is easy to identify because it looks like a big football. And then this piece right here, this is your California tri-tip. So on a deer, this is small. On a bison or beef, that's nice and big. So these are less tender, but they're good for making roasts. We're gonna take this apart and make some like London broil out of them. This right here, some people call the cap of this, where you would pull the seam, pull it, they call it the picanha, but it's the sirloin butt. It's this part right here. That's where your sirloin steaks come from. Nice and tender. So we're gonna make some steaks out of that one. This one here is our top or inside round. Remember we talked about abused meat here when we cut through the hide by the pelvic bone? We took the cap off of here, which might be somewhere. Anyway, here's a cap right here. This was a cap, or we call it the decal. It's just a covering. So on a deer, that's really small, but this eats just like London broil. We'll clean that up. It's nice and tender. This one, we can cut like London broil. You see the grain going this way, so we can cut big London broils out of there, and you cook them just like flank steak. And or you can cut steaks out of this, or cut it in half and make steaks or chops, tender cut. This one, we call this the mock tender, or the eye of the round. It's less tender, it's chewy, we need to clean it up. You would take this and cut steaks out of, make breakfast steaks, run it through a cuber, hit it with a jacquard thing, a bunch of needles to make it tender, marinate it, but it's less tender, less tender. Then this one is the outside or bottom round. This is that big flat one that goes right up here in the back side of the leg all the way to the butt. You know they're there because there's big seams of sinew here, and you know that between this bottom and outside round and the top was the eye. So here's that big silver skin that needs to come off, and then this you can cut and prepare this just like a brisket of beef. Of course, it's not as fatty, so we'd have to inject it with a brine, and or you can make pastrami out of this, or corned beef out of this. You can make roast out of this, chicken fried steak out of this, chops out of this. So this is very versatile for the outside bottom round. Then we get to this part. This is part of the shank, and then this is the other part of the shank, and then this looks like we already start cutting on some of the trim. So these are the shanks. Well, this one really is the heel. These are the shanks. This is that heel that goes on the front. So these are tough, but these get braised, slow cooked in pressure cookers, canners, brine them, brine them and smoke them and make your own ham hocks out of them. Again, this would be osso buco. So this, you can take this and slow cook it and then pull the meat off these tendons and make, barbecue bison and things like that.
So you don't need the bone to be in there?
No.
Okay. Wow, what a day. We have butchered and processed pretty much an entire bison. We finished the hindquarters and the shoulders, all the trim, all the grind meat, all the stuff that we make for sausage, and we vacuum sealed and packaged it, have it all labeled for everybody to take home tomorrow. The only thing left is the fun stuff, which is doing all the cooking and then the eating. Let's go do some cooking.
We're going to make the egg rolls here with the hard and the sauerkraut. And remember, we want 2 patties on the side. Okay? Oh, yeah. Alan, remember, we're going to make green fried tomatoes because they're not on the list. And I keep thinking I'm going to forget them. I know I'm going to lose it. All right, group 3 right over here. You guys are doing the gumbo and the dirty rice. Now you're going to have a lot of knife work to do. Yeah. And you're going to have a lot of cooking. So as you get some of that mise en place put together, one person is constantly cutting and the other person is getting, moving things around and cooking, okay? Yeah. Amy and Kevin over here. And you guys are going to do the medallions. So basically, I'm just going to draw this real quick for you, just so you can see. This is what I'm thinking. Here's your plate. And then we have the mushroom sauce here, a pool of mushroom sauce. And then we have a pool of ratatouille, which is vegetable stew. Here we have the potato crostade. Here we have the medallion of bison. On top of that, we have the compound butter. Okay? And then let it cook. Slow. Okay, slow and low. All right. Just a little juicy. Okay.
pleasure tonight. Our first course is fried green tomatoes with teriyaki buffalo beef jerky sprinkled on top,
And we have summer squash ribbons with buffalo onion smoked sausage, as well as some of the jerky sprinkled on top of this, and some creme fraiche.
Awesome. Great, good job.
Yum, it's delicious.
Wonderful.
Yeah. The veggies out of the garden are, I mean, you just can't be beaten.
No.
Take a bite. Take a bite. Take a bite.
All right, folks, attention please. Our second course is a
2 or 3 inch diameter.
corned buffalo heart Reuben egg roll with a honey glaze, with a honey mustard glaze and a honey mustard chili glaze and a
Cream, the wasabi sour
yeah,
cream.
wasabi cream. Forgot the name.
Wasabi sour cream. Yes, that was perfect.
Yep.
It's a long name.
This
is great.
Wow.
I would like it.
More, please.
Very good.
So we made a gumbo for you with the smoked bison sausage that we made yesterday. And then there's a dirty rice that has bison liver in it and the smoked sausage as well. And the gumbo also has chicken thigh. So you've got a good amount of meat in here, rice and gumbo. Enjoy.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Yep.
Wow. Is that my oven? Yeah, I know. I said, eat fast.
Ooh, I got some kick.
I do like hot sauce, so.
That's good.
They pass.
Good job. Oh yeah, 100%. So, course number 3, home run.
All right, everybody, the final course of the night. We have bison medallion on a potato pancake with a ratatouille and a mushroom whiskey sauce. Please enjoy.
sauce. Oh,
he was trying to tell you what was serving.
Oh my goodness.
Every time I never pace myself.
Sorry.
Served with a
This is gorgeous.
You gonna serve mine?
Congratulations, Kevin.
We did it.
Yeah. Woo!
We made them do video submissions so we can see what they were like on here. Turning a video, the whole thing, we were this big anyway. It was like